The world of UFC never lacks drama. Whether it's inside the cage or outside it, the sport thrives on storylines that captivate fans worldwide. Recently, one of the biggest names in the UFC has shaken things up by threatening retirement if he doesn't receive a title shot, a statement that sent ripples throughout the MMA community and brought Dana White front and center with a strong response. Justin Gaethje, known for his warrior spirit and relentless fighting style, recently dropped a bombshell. Frustrated by the matchmaking delays and feeling sidelined despite stepping up as a backup for a high-profile fight, Gaethje made a candid statement, implying he might hang up his gloves if the UFC doesn't grant him a title shot soon. Dana White, never one to mince words, responded swiftly during a media session. If you're thinking about retiring because you don't get a title shot, then maybe it's time to retire, Dana said bluntly. We love Justin. He's an exciting fighter, no doubt, but threatening retirement to get a title shot, that's wacky. The response ignited debate among fans. Some sympathized with Gaethje's frustration. After all, the fighter had risked injury and stepped in on short notice as a backup, a role that sometimes goes unnoticed. Others argued that entitlement has no place in a sport where rankings, timing, and business interests all play a part in matchmaking. Gaethje's statement, while provocative, highlighted the pressure cooker environment of the lightweight division. It's a scene where new champions emerge, veterans fight for relevance, and up-and-comers aim to break through. One of the most electrifying fighters currently making waves is Ilia Topuria, the new UFC lightweight champion. After a devastating knockout victory that catapulted him to the top, Ilia has become a household name among MMA fans. But beyond the headlines and knockout reels, there's a human side to this rising star. Recently, a series of behind-the-scenes videos from Topuria training camp surfaced, showing a different side of the fighter. In one memorable moment, Ilia's young son stole the show as he practiced striking drills alongside his father. The boy's curious eyes and natural rhythm on the pads painted a picture of a family deeply intertwined with the fight game. Ilia recalled a touching moment post-fight when he returned from the cage holding his belt. His son's first words, "Why didn't you throw the uppercut after that right punch?" Ilia laughed. "Next time, I'll try it," promising to teach his son all the nuances of the craft. These moments humanize the champion, reminding fans that behind every knockout and highlight is a person balancing family, legacy, and ambition. Ilia's knockout streak has drawn comparisons to other great finishes in the UFC. During a recent interview, Dana White ranked Topuria's last 3 knockouts. Walt Harris finished at the top, Max Holloway's second, and Charles Oliveira's as third. That Walt fight was the hardest, Dana explained, but knocking out Charles Oliveira like that's no small feat. Ilia himself weighed in on his performance, humbly deflecting praise while acknowledging the difficulty of maintaining such a streak against top-tier opponents. "It's amazing, honestly," Ilia said, "to beat guys like Max and Charles. Not many people can say that." Weight cutting remains one of the most grueling aspects of MMA, often sidelining fighters or complicating matchmaking. Justin Gaethje opened up about his own struggles, revealing he hurt his back during a camp, which severely impacted his ability to cut weight. "I was good with the weight," Gaethje said, "but the injury meant I couldn't move, so I couldn't cut." Despite the setback, Gaethje expressed readiness to step up as a backup again, if needed. Highlighting his commitment to the sport, the conversation inevitably turned to pound-for-pound rankings, a topic that generates endless debate. Ilia Topuria voiced strong opinions on the matter. "If I'm not number 2, I'm just behind Salikov, Alexander Volkanovski," Ilia said confidently. 5 title fights, 8 wins, streak, second submission for title defenses. Numbers don't lie. He challenged the logic behind some rankings, pointing out how fighters like Jack Della Maddalena are ranked ahead of him. Despite his accomplishments, it's time to respect the flyweight and lightweight divisions more. They're full of entertaining fights and incredible athletes, Ilia stated. Outside the cage, the UFC faced logistical hurdles. A recent fire at the Pi Training Center disrupted preparations for several fighters. Dana White detailed the incident, explaining that a sauna caught fire, causing significant damage. "We don't know exactly how bad, but it's serious," Dana said. "We're figuring out how long the repairs will take." Such incidents underscore the unpredictable challenges MMA organizations face beyond matchmaking and fights. A heated topic in MMA is performance-enhancing drugs. Fighters' reputations and careers hinge on transparency and clean competition. Joe Rogan, a longtime UFC commentator, publicly called for stricter standards and voiced strong opinions on fighters who test positive. You should never be allowed to fight again if you've used PED, Rogan said emphatically. Some fighters responded defensively, asserting their innocence and advocating for fair testing protocols. This ongoing dialogue continues to shape the sport's approach to regulation and fighter accountability. As the lightweight division shakes off the aftermath of recent fights, the question on everyone's mind remains: who will face Ilia Topuria next? Justin Gaethje's candid retirement threat added urgency, but Dana White's stance emphasized that title shots are earned, not demanded. Meanwhile, other contenders like Paddy Pimblett and Arman Tsarukyan are pushing their cases, each bringing unique styles and fan followings. The UFC's matchmakers face the delicate task of balancing sport meritocracy, fighter readiness, and market appeal. The UFC's landscape is one of constant evolution. Fighters rise and fall, champions emerge, and narratives intertwine. Dana White's candid responses, Ilia Topuria's family moments, Gaethje's frustrations, and ongoing rankings debates exemplify the multifaceted nature of the sport. At its core, MMA remains about competition, passion, and the pursuit of greatness inside and outside the cage. As fans, we watch, debate, and celebrate, knowing that every fighter's journey is as unpredictable as has reached a boiling point. With Ilia Topuria's meteoric rise and Justin Gaethje's public frustrations, the spotlight is squarely on who deserves the next shot at the belt. Ilia, however, remains unfazed by the chatter. In candid interviews, he emphasizes his focus on continuous improvement rather than distractions from outside noise. I don't pay attention to what people say about me. I'm here to fight, to train, and to be the best version of myself, he shared. Despite his composed exterior, the young champion is aware of the expectations resting on his shoulders. The UFC lightweight division has been one of the most stacked in recent history, with a deep pool of talent hungry for the belt. Arman Tsarukyan is one such fighter. The Armenian contender has been making waves with his grappling-heavy style and relentless pace. Many analysts believe he presents a challenging matchup for Ilia, especially if the fight goes to the ground. Arman's camp has openly targeted a title eliminator fight, eager to prove their fighter's credentials. Tsarukyan's coach remarked, "In a recent media appearance, we see Ilia's strengths and weaknesses. We believe Arman's wrestling and pressure can control him. The rivalry between these fighters isn't just technical. It's personal." The lightweight division's politics and animosities add an extra layer of drama to the matchmaking process. Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett, one of the sport's most charismatic and polarizing figures, continues to call out Topuria. Their rivalry has roots in social media exchanges and even physical confrontations backstage, making a future fight an electric prospect. Despite Dana White's hesitation to book that fight immediately, the buzz around a potential clash between the two continues to build. Pimblett's rapid rise and fan-friendly style contrasts sharply with Topuria's stoic and technical approach, setting the stage for a classic showdown. Justin Gaethje, watching all this unfold, remains a wild card. His retirement threat may have ruffled feathers, but it also underscores the frustration many fighters face in navigating the UFC's complex ranking and matchmaking system. Gaethje's legacy as one of the most exciting lightweights of his era is undisputed, yet the business side of the sport often clashes with the fighter's desires and timelines. The UFC, on its part, has acknowledged the importance of managing fighters' expectations while balancing promotional needs. Dana White has emphasized that title shots are not automatic but earned through performances and timing. Beyond the lightweight division, other weight classes are experiencing their own shift. The welterweight division, where Islam Makhachev recently moved up, has seen significant action with fresh contenders and exciting matchups. Makhachev's move has also sparked discussions about potential superfights and double champ scenarios, with names like Jack Della Maddalena entering the conversation. As the UFC prepares for upcoming events, the logistical challenges of global expansion remain a topic of concern. The recent fire incident at the Pi training facility is a reminder of the unpredictability of life outside the cage. Fighters and camps have had to adapt quickly, shifting training locations and modifying preparations. Despite these challenges, the spirit of competition remains unbroken. Fighters continue to push their limits, driven by passion, legacy, and the pursuit of greatness. Ilia Topuria's journey is emblematic of this drive. From humble beginnings to the pinnacle of the lightweight division, his story inspires many young fighters worldwide. His dedication to family, as seen in moments with his son adds a human touch to the often brutal world of MMA. The future of the lightweight division is still unfolding, with multiple contenders vying for the spotlight. Every fight carries immense stakes. Fans eagerly await announcements on title defenses and eliminator bouts. The UFC's matchmaking team faces the daunting task of balancing competitive fairness with business interests. In this complex environment, fighters must remain adaptable, focused, and ready to seize opportunities as they come. The narrative of the lightweight division is far from over. With every knockout, submission, and victory, new chapters are written. As Ilia continues to sharpen his skills and build his legacy. The division watches closely, waiting to see who will rise to challenge the new champion. And as Justin Gaethje's retirement threat lingers in the background, the sport is reminded that fighters are human, balancing ambition, frustration, and the harsh realities of their profession. MMA, at its core, is a test of resilience, not just physical but mental and emotional. The storylines, rivalries, and unexpected moments are what keep fans coming back, hungry for more. With the lightweight division heating up, the next year promises thrilling fights, intense rivalries, and unforgettable moments. For now, the cage remains the ultimate stage where respect is earned and champions are made. Certainly. Here's the continuation for Part 3, without any titles. The fallout from Ilia Topuria's knockout victory continues to ripple through the MMA world. Charles Oliveira, the former champion, responded publicly with a mix of humility and determination. In a heartfelt statement, Oliveira acknowledged the loss, but emphasized his commitment to bounce back. "It wasn't how we wanted it to be, but it's for the best," he said. "Thank you to everyone for the affection and support. I'll be back stronger." Oliveira's words resonated with many fans, reflecting the resilience that defines top athletes in the sport. Despite the setback, he remains a fan favorite and a respected competitor in the lightweight division. But behind the scenes, Oliveira was candid about his mindset going into the fight. He revealed that he sensed fear in Topuria's eyes, an unusual admission for a seasoned fighter. "I saw it. He didn't want to fight me." "The eyes never lie," Oliveira said. This raw honesty added another layer to the intrigue surrounding the fight. Oliveira described moments inside the octagon when Topuria seemed confused, even scared. He looked like he was wondering why he was there. Like, what am I doing? The rivalry between these two fighters was already intense. Oliveira's reflection only stoked the fires, making a rematch or related confrontations more compelling. Oliveira also shared his frustrations with missed opportunities during the fight. He pointed out moments where he could have capitalized more on controlling Topuria against the cage, working knees and maintaining pressure. In contrast, Topuria's camp noted that their fighters' preparation and discipline were at an all-time high. They stressed that Ilia had studied Oliveira's tendencies meticulously and was ready for every scenario. The contrast between Oliveira's grappling-heavy style and Topuria's precise striking made for a classic stylistic clash that fans enjoyed. The division's other contenders are watching closely. Arman Tsarukyan, Paddy Pimblett, and Justin Gaethje all have vested interests in how this situation develops. Pimblett, known for his outspoken personality and flashy style, has openly challenged Topuria. Their rivalry isn't just about the cage, it's about pride, national identity, and respect. Despite Dana White's disapproval of Pimblett's direct face-off with Topuria after the fight, the tension remains palpable. Pimblett never won to back down, insists that he deserves his shot and is ready to bring the fight. "I'm coming for him," he stated confidently. Meanwhile, Tsarukyan's camp emphasizes tactical superiority. His coach outlined a game plan focused on wrestling and control, arguing it would neutralize Topuria's striking. The lightweight division is a powder keg of talent, style matchups, and egos. Each fighter brings something unique, and the UFC's matchmaking team faces the challenge of balancing sport integrity with entertainment value. Topuria himself remains focused on growth. In interviews, he acknowledges critiques about his grappling and striking diversity, but insists on continuous improvement. He has incorporated wrestling and jiu-jitsu specialists into his camp to shore up weaknesses and become a more complete fighter. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's team, including coach Javier Mendez, continues to weigh the prospect of a super fight with Topuria. Mendez has praised Topuria's boxing, but remains skeptical of his overall striking arsenal compared to other contenders like Jack Della Maddalena. The question remains, will Matt return to lightweight for a title unification, or will he pursue success in welterweight? The dynamic nature of the lightweight division promises exciting matchups in the near future. Fans eagerly anticipate official announcements about title defenses, eliminators, and potential SUPERFIGHTS. Throughout it all, the human stories from Oliveira's humility to Topuria's son's enthusiasm remind us that behind the fierce competition lies a community driven by passion and perseverance. As the dust settles from UFC under 17, the lightweight division enters a new chapter filled with promise, challenges, and unforgettable moments yet to come. If you want, I can keep going, or focus on the lightweight division. Remains one of the most dynamic in the UFC, with each fight reshaping the hierarchy and stirring new rivalries. Ilia Topuria's sudden rise has invigorated the landscape, but it also brings challenges and questions about what's next. Dana White's reaction to the post-fight face-off between Topuria and Paddy Pimblett has been a major talking point. The UFC president expressed his frustration openly, calling the moment unnecessary and unprofessional, especially considering Topuria's wife and child were present in the octagon. "This isn't what we do," Dana said in the press conference. That moment with Topuria and Pimblett, it was fun to watch, sure, but it shouldn't have happened, especially with family in the cage. That's not the fight we're lining up. Dana made it clear that Pimblett isn't the next in line for a title shot and pointed to other contenders who have earned their spots, such as Arman Tsarukyan and Justin Gaethje. Despite Dana's disapproval, the moment highlighted the tension and hype surrounding the lightweight division. Pimblett's charisma and brash confidence make him a fan favorite, while Topuria's focused and technical approach draws respect from purists. The division's top fighters are each pushing their case for the next title shot. Justin Gaethje's recent comments about possibly retiring if he doesn't get a title opportunity added fuel to the fire. Gaethje, known for his hard and aggressive style, has been a staple in the division for years, and his frustration is understandable. Yet, Dana White dismissed his retirement threat as wacky, reinforcing that title shots are earned, not owed. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan's camp remains confident in their strategy. They believe Tsarukyan's wrestling and grappling will pose a serious challenge to Topuria's striking-centric style. Tsarukyan's coach has spoken at length about how they plan to exploit perceived weaknesses in Topuria's ground game. "We'll take him down, control him, and force him to fight on our terms," the coach said. That's the best path to the belt. As Topuria prepares to defend his title later this year, he continues to evolve. His camp has invested heavily in diversifying his skill set, adding wrestling specialists, and refining his takedown defense. Topuria's work ethic is evident to those close to him. His head coach described the Oliveira camp as the most disciplined training cycle so far, focusing on long-term sustainability as much as short-term results. The UFC itself is planning expansion into new markets, with Spain a prime candidate given Topuria's rising popularity. Talks are ongoing about hosting a major event, possibly a pay-per-view, in Madrid or Barcelona. This move could solidify Topuria's status as a global star and bring fresh eyes to the lightweight division. Yet the division's volatility means nothing is guaranteed. Fighters like Mateusz Gamrot continue to climb the ranks, quietly accumulating wins and positioning themselves for a shot. Gamrot's grappling-heavy style and well-rounded striking could disrupt the current pecking order if given the opportunity. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's move up to welterweight keeps the door open for potential super. His upcoming bout against Jack Della Maddalena is highly anticipated and may determine if a double champ scenario is in the cards. Javier Mendez, Makhachev's coach, remains cautious about committing to a lightweight return unless the stakes are monumental. The fight with Topuria, it might not happen at 155, Mendez noted. "We're focused on the bigger picture, and sometimes that means making tough choices about where to fight. For now, fans and fighters alike wait with bated breath to see how the division shapes up. With multiple contenders and storylines, every announcement carries weight. Whether Topuria can silence his doubters and prove himself as a true all-around champion remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, his left hook and the controversy around it will be remembered for a long time. As the lightweight division evolves, the stakes only get higher. The UFC's premier division is in a thrilling state of flux, promising intense battles and unforgettable moments for years to come. The aftermath of Ilia Topuria's knockout win and the surrounding drama have set the stage for a highly charged lightweight division heading into the rest of the year. As fighters jockey for position and fans debate who deserves a shot, the UFC's matchmaking decisions will be critical in defining the division's future. One key factor shaping the narrative is Topuria's planned return timeline. He has indicated he won't be back in the octagon until the end of the year, likely giving him a 5 to 6 month break before his first title defense. This gap opens the door for a title eliminator bout, a fight designed to determine who will earn the right to challenge the champion next. 3 fighters have emerged as the most probable contenders for that eliminator. Arman Tsarukyan, Paddy Pimblett, and Justin Gaethje each brings a unique story and fan base to the table. Tsarukyan's technical prowess and strong wrestling base make him a stylistic challenge for Topuria, whose camp is actively improving his grappling. Tsarukyan has earned respect for his consistency and discipline, making him the logical contender in the eyes of many analysts. Pimblett, however, has a sizable and passionate fan base and a reputation for creating exciting fights. His rivalry with Topuria has been simmering for months, with both fighters exchanging verbal jabs and promises. Despite UFC President Dana White's hesitance to grant Pimblett a direct title shot, a high-stakes fight against Gaethje or Tsarukyan could propel him forward. Gaethje remains a wild card, a former interim champion and fan favorite. His aggressive style and ability to produce thrilling bouts make him a valuable asset to the UFC. Yet, his recent losses have cast doubt on whether he is ready for another immediate title shot. Beyond the title picture, the lightweight division's depth continues to impress. Fighters like Mateusz Gamrot quietly rack up wins and demonstrate an all-around game that can threaten the division's elite. Gamrot's grappling-heavy approach contrasts with Topuria's striking focus and makes him a potential spoiler. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's trajectory remains one of the division's biggest storylines. His move to welterweight to pursue a second belt will either lead to historic double champion status or bring him back to lightweight. Depending on the outcome of his upcoming fights, Coach Javier Mendez's comments suggest a measured approach. While praising Topuria's boxing, he questions the completeness of Ilia's striking and highlights Jack Della Maddalena as a tougher stylistic matchup for Islam. If Islam loses or decides not to return to lightweight, it could clear a path for Topuria's reign to solidify. Alternatively, a super fight between Islam and Ilia could electrify the sport and generate massive interest globally. Ilia's camp is also preparing for multiple scenarios. They are not only improving his wrestling, but also incorporating diverse training partners to address every possible threat. The strategic mindset indicates a long-term plan rather than just short-term glory. The UFC itself is exploring new territories for major events. Spain's growing MMA fan base, fueled by Topuria's popularity, has made it a prime candidate for hosting a large-scale event. Talks about staging a pay-per-view in Madrid or Barcelona have gained momentum. A Spanish UFC event with Topuria headlining could be a landmark moment for the sport in Europe and help elevate the lightweight division further. Fan anticipation is high, and social media buzz has exploded around these developments. Ilia's knockout and subsequent face-off with Pimblett were some of the most talked-about moments in recent UFC history. Yet, amid all the hype, fighters remain focused on the grind. Topuria's discipline and hunger suggest he won't rest on his laurels. He's aware of the scrutiny and ready to prove himself repeatedly. The lightweight division's volatility ensures that no fighter is safe. Upsets, stylistic mismatches, and unexpected breaks can change trajectories overnight. As the division settles into this new chapter, fans can expect fierce battles, heated rivalries, and the emergence of new stars alongside established veterans. Ilia Topuria's story is just beginning. His knockout of Oliveira was a statement, but the real test lies ahead, defending his crown against the best the division has to offer. The next 6 to 12 months will reveal if Topuria can silence the skeptics and establish himself as a true champion, or if the lightweight division's depth will challenge him at every turn. Either way, the lightweight division remains one of the most exciting and unpredictable landscapes in all of mixed martial arts. As the lightweight division buzz intensifies, Ilia Topuria's camp is quietly plotting their next moves. Behind the scenes, the champion is doubling down on his training regimen, aware that the landscape is unforgiving and that any lapse could cost him dearly. Topuria's evolution is notable not just as a boxer with knockout power, but as a more complete mixed martial artist. His recent camps have included elite wrestlers and grapplers to shore up weaknesses in his ground game, a common vulnerability cited by critics. The challenge is immense. Fighters like Arman Tsarukyan and Mateusz Gamrot specialize in grinding, styles that could neutralize Topuria's striking. Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett's flashy, unpredictable approach offers a different kind of challenge, one that tests not only skill but mental toughness. The rivalry between Topuria and Pimblett has become a major talking point in MMA circles. The two share a bitter animosity that goes beyond mere competition. It's personal, verbal spats, social media exchanges, and even tense moments backstage have set the stage for a showdown fans eagerly anticipate. Yet UFC President Dana White remains cautious about granting Pimblett a title shot so soon. He insists that fighters must earn their way, pointing to others like Sarukian and Githka as more deserving based on recent performances. This dynamic highlights the complex politics of the UFC matchmaking process, where marketability, fan interest, and meritocracy all collide. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's move up to welterweight casts a long shadow over the lightweight division. If Islam captures gold at 170 pounds, the prospect of a super fight with Topuria becomes tantalizing. Such a matchup would unite two of the most technically proficient fighters in the UFC, creating huge anticipation worldwide. However, Islam's camp remains measured, emphasizing that any return to lightweight or super fight scenarios will depend heavily on timing, stakes, and logistics beyond the octagon. The UFC's expansion plans hint at big opportunities. Spain, with its passionate MMA fanbase and rising stars like Topuria, could soon host a major event, possibly the first ever UFC pay-per-view in the country. This would mark a milestone for both the sport and the champion. The prospect excites fans and fighters alike, promising an electric atmosphere and global attention. For now, Topuria is focused on the fundamentals. His camp's discipline, attention to detail, and long-term approach suggests he's preparing not just to win, but to dominate the division. Critics who once dismissed his striking-only style are watching closely as he incorporates new weapons and hones his wrestling defense. The lightweight division remains a thrilling Pazula blend of elite talent, fierce rivalry, and storylines that captivate fans worldwide. Whether Ilia Topuria can cement his legacy as a champion, or whether contenders like Sarukian, Pimblett, Gethja, or Gamrot will rise to the challenge remains to be seen. One thing is certain, the stakes have never been higher, and the road ahead promises some of the most exciting fights in UFC history.